I thought I'd record a quick video of some of the gear that I brought out here to shoot bears for a week up in Alaska by myself. So right here I've got the f-stop. It's the tilapia. It's a 50-liter pack. It's pretty big, though I wish I almost had more space to put layers and lunch and things like that. Most important part about bear viewing, finding the bears. So a pair of good binoculars. This is an old pair of Nikon Monarchs. And then inside my pack, the back opens like this. Inside my pack I have a Z9, Nikon Z9 with a 100 to 400. I borrowed one body from a friend. So I have a Z9. I have a black rapid strap that goes, over the shoulder that I can clip them to. So one Z9, 100 to 400, and another Z9 with the Nikon 500 5.6. It's a prime lens, and right now I have the 1.4 on there, so it makes it like a 720. So I was shooting a 720 last night. The light was really bright, so I could stop it down even a little bit, and I was shooting 720. So I had the two of these sitting next to me on the sandbar while I was posted up photographing bears fishing. That's the main two lenses I've been using. Most of the time I haven't been using the 1.4 on there, but and the other lens that I have with me is the 24 to 120, which is a great lens, good coverage of a bunch of range. I put the polarizer on there. I was shooting down into the water yesterday trying to photograph bears fishing from above. Cool little vantage point. Gotta have a little rocket blower, some lens cloths. My bag's getting a little bit messy. And then inside the bag, I've got extra batteries. I've got a big old lunch, bars, oranges, a couple of tortillas with cheese and cucumber and mustard and olives and things like that. Extra batteries. I keep my backup to my computer and everything in here, so I got a little solid state drive. I do have a laptop with me and solar panels, and so I'm uploading the files 2 or 3 times depending on how much I shoot. So that's the main stuff. So I didn't bring a ton of stuff. I brought a tripod, which is holding the camera that's filming this, but honestly I haven't really missed it. You're doing a lot of hiking, I'm walking miles a day, so having two lenses that just stay on the body and I can just switch, set them both down. Most of the time I'm sitting down and I find a scene and basically just work it. So I'll go to a spot. I also have a Crazy Creek chair, and I'll basically find a good spot and sit there for 3-4 hours and just wait for the bears to come through and do their thing. So that's the main gear. A couple more things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this lens. Actually, I was thinking more about it when I went and grabbed my solar stuff, but this 500 prime lens, I have to say, is pretty amazing. Super sharp, and I will, when they do have a 200 to 600, it'll be an interesting question, because this thing handheld at 5.6, this is with the 1.4 on there, so this is a 720 at f8, which is a little slow unless it's bright. Then I just take that 1.4 off, but this lens with this body, the Z9, is incredible, and it's easily packable, hand holdable. With the VR on, it certainly makes it, I've been hand holding super slow shutter speeds and, being able to pull bears in from a long distance, things like that. It's been pretty sweet. I used to own a 500 f4 and I got rid of it. And, after getting this, I was realizing I just don't use it anymore because the 500 f4 weighs, 2 or 3 times this. It takes up half the pack. Pretty much have to set up a tripod by that point, switching between lenses, and the bears are doing something over there and then they're over there, and you got to reset. It's just so much more portable. So I'm a huge fan of the 500 5.6. It's the PF lens, and I've seen the new 800. Somebody I was shooting with at a different location had it. It looks pretty sweet, so that may be in the future as well. So anyways, that's the 500 5.6 PF. The other piece I wanted to talk about is the solar and how I charge things. So in the cameras, I've got pro grade 325 gig cards, which is pretty big. So I can shoot ideally for, several days, depending on how much I'm shooting. But either way, I got to charge the batteries in the cameras, and I do have a laptop, so I can dump the photos off into a couple of solid state drives to back stuff up. So the solar panels, people are always interested. They're Goal Zero panels. I've got this is the newer one. I have two, so I have a little bit older version of the same thing. This is the Nomad 28, and it basically folds out like this, or I have the clips so I can hang it from the tent. But basically I can just hang that up, and it's 28 watts. And it still takes quite a long time. Being in Alaska, unless it's just rainy, you do have sun for many hours, but pretty small. I have two of these, or two equivalents, and then on the back it's got all the different wires and things, so you can hook up, like I was plugging it into just a small little Anchor brand that I used just for my phone the other day. So I've got these. And then I have these two Goal Zero battery packs. So these are the biggest thing that you can fly with. You can't, 100 watts, I think, is the max for flying. Otherwise, I'd get one of those really big ones, which would be awesome. So I have two. This is an older version that I bought with the first solar panel. So this is 98 watts, so it's TSA compliant. So this was the Sherpa 100, and this is the newer version of the Sherpa 100. It's definitely smaller, it's nicer, and again, it's 94 watt hours, so 100 being the max. So the two of these, like, I can get my laptop charged off of this, probably, depending on how much I'm running it, maybe once or so, and same thing with this. But between these two and the little Anchor battery that I have for my phone, I should be able to, I would figure I'm using about a Z9 battery a day, split between the two. So I'm charging like one battery every night. And, I've had some rain days and then I've had some sun days. So, so far I'm keeping ahead of it, but it is always a project. So, but that's the solar stuff, the Z9, the 500, 5.6, the other Z9 that I borrowed, the 100 to 400. That's pretty much what I've done for 95% of everything I've shot out here. So, all right. Well, I thought I'd give a quick tour of my house. I have the regular tent that you saw in the video, which just has my sleeping stuff in it. But in here is like the living space. So I've got this yellow barrel here, which has got my food in it to keep the bears out. I've got, more than a week's worth of food. I'm planning on being here, I think 7 or 8 nights, but you never know if the float plane can't get here. So I've got, extra food for a few days in there in case I have to shoot more bears. It'd be tough. Makes a nice cup holder or table for my teacup. I've got a nice recliner. I splurged and brought an actual real chair, which has been pretty sweet. And you can see I've got duffel bags here on the side, which is all the gear came in. I've got a big dry bag, which I'm keeping all the electronics and stuff. I'm not putting my camera bag in that. I just set it in here at night, and those cameras are pretty durable. So I've got my stove, just a little MSR wind burner, right? And a bag of water sitting down here on the floor. That's basically it. It's nice to have a place to sit and get out of the wind and get out of the rain or the sun or whatever. Also a place to dry. Did some laundry yesterday. It was sunny, so I've got laundry drying up in the attic as well. So that's my house. Enjoy.